What's up, guys? Welcome to Crypto Cartel. Uh, it's been kind of chaotic in the crypto market. People are wondering if it's over. A lot of people are calling top. The Fed definitely dropped a bomb on us this week. But we're going to talk about today why we think this bull market continues. And not only that, this is probably, this week will probably make or break your portfolio if you make the right moves. And this is what's going to separate outperformers from the rest of the people that get left behind. So we're going to talk about the opportunities in the market, and we're going to give you, the altcoins that we're looking at to potentially outperform everyone else. So with that, let's get into Bitcoin, Alex.
All right, let's do it. So let me share my screen here. So one of the things I want to talk about is, our group chat, right? And that's how we're going to start off this really quick. As you can see, we're the Crypto Cartel, and the links are on our profiles. But it's one of the things that I did post on December 5th, right? And I want to go back to this whole thing here. So there was this thesis I had that we were going to go ahead and by looking at the charts, right, that we were going to go into this region, into the 108, 110 region, which is what I said, as of yesterday, it appears that BTC wants scenario 2, which was the bullish scenario, short term, right, breached the 100K into the 104K region. And then we could see a higher rip into the 108, 110. And then from there, maybe a dip, right? I also said I'm also open to the possibility where we don't have a dip at all and we just continue to pump, right? But no, that's exactly what we did. We went into the 108, not the 110. And, we had that, from 108 all the way down to 92. So like what is that? Like a 14? It was a good pullback. So let's just take a quick look at it. It was about a $16,000 pullback. So 15% pullback, right? And, what's next? And just to really understand this, this looks a little bit messy, but let me get into what the thesis was, right? We went ahead, we did 108, and then right now we're trending down. One of the things I said was that, if we break this blue line here, we'll see, the 90s and then eventually lower. That was my update as of yesterday. And yeah, that's exactly what we did. But getting into the smaller timeframes, and I'll go into the macro in a little bit, is this whole thing where we're bouncing here and we're getting rejected by the 200 MA, right? So we pumped in there, we got in there, but it seems like we can't get above, we can't stay above it. If we do see a weekly close above the 97 region, which was yesterday's daily close.
Sorry, the 200 MA on what time frame?
On the 4-hour time frame. So 4 hours are pretty pivotal here, right? We lose this 21 MA, or I'm sorry, this 200 MA. Then that means that, we're going to come back down to here to see, we're going to retest this area, right? Most likely the 90, 89K region. We lose that, then we see 85, right? So this is very important. I circled this area here, right? If we close above this area for the weekly, I'd love to see a weekly above this 200 MA. Then I think we continue to see, more upper side. The other scenarios, we do a double bottom and then we, break back into that over the next day or two, then we're bullish again, right? I'm not saying that I'm bearish long-term. I'm, trying to see what the charts are going to tell us, right? So I can't really say I'm bullish or bearish until I see some scenarios play out, right? And so from there, let's just say we do get rejected here, then I'm expecting this scenario, the red scenario, right? We came up. Essentially, this was just like a retest, and then we just come back down into the 80s. This would be the next scenario. And then from here, and that would, if you do the math, that would give us at least like a 20% pullback, which is historically something that we've had over the last bull runs, right? I believe last time we hit like 39K, we did back down to like 22K, and then we ripped to 56K, right? So to me, this is part of that stage where we haven't seen such a drawdown. If you look back, it's only been like 5-10%. But to me, this would make a lot of sense, right? We dip back down all the way to the mid 80s. The lowest lows we could see is like 77K, right? And then from there we rip up. But again, we'll take this one day at a time. And that's what I see in the micro, right? Let's look at the macro point of view, and let's go to the weekly. All right. And so for the weekly, to me, it would make sense for us to either do a double bottom here or just kind of wick all the way down to the mid 80s. Because then what would happen essentially, it would be this whole, all right, stochastics just comes all the way down here and then flips back up to go to higher highs, right? And we've seen that happen here. As you can see, we did a nice dump and then, a nice pump. And let's just go to the bull runs here. Oh, shit. Yeah, here. So you could see that. This is the perfect example, right? We went ahead and we looked at 42K, dumped 30% to 28K, right? Which also, if we're looking at it right now, it looks like about 77K. And then from there, what happens? We ripped all the way up to, 69K. So essentially, that's kind of what I'm seeing here, just a normal, 20, 30% pullback. If we take that all the way to that's exactly that. It's about 28 to 30% if we hit 77K. And then from there, we just continue to go to the upside, right? That's what I'm seeing right now. It would be like a fast dip. The stochastics wouldn't go all the way down. It would do like a halfway turn down and then all the way back up again. So that's what I'm seeing for Bitcoin in the macro levels, right? But again, take it one day at a time. I'm still bullish long term. These are just normal pullbacks, and you can go back through the history of the bull runs, and that's exactly what we do before we start seeing higher highs. Another thing I want to point out is this Bitcoin dominance, which is why we had like a pretty nasty dump. And I did also post this on our Telegram group. These are the levels to watch. So far, we've gotten rejected by this level here, right? And it should be very interesting to see what's going to happen next. Maybe we get held by support here in the 200 MA or this region that I've had lined up already for a while. So basically, we're looking this region to be a support for Bitcoin dominance. If not, it'd be great to just see that straight rejection, right? And then we just go down from there. But levels to watch would be all the way up to our last all-time high, maybe up to here, 62%. And then last but not least, I think if we do get that 77 to 75K dump, then expect it all the way up to maybe here. We'll have to see. We'll have to play that really on a daily basis. But one thing I want to call out is, we are looking very bullish on these time frames, like the 5-day, the 3-day still looking slightly bullish. The daily had a nice pump right to that point of rejection. The weekly, it's looking pretty bullish to the point that we could come up here and then make more of a bearish divergence, right? So the RSI is making a lower high, but the price is going higher. And that would be rejection for us, right? And that would be alt season. So again, a lot of factors to look at. We'll look at it day by day, and then we'll continue to post that information on our Telegram group. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I don't know how you called the 108 to 92K, but it somehow worked out exactly like that.
Well, I can explain that later if you want, but yeah, go ahead.
If you could just do like the TLDR, like what did you see at that time, and why did you think that would be the pivot point?
There was a local target. I believe there's a few factors when I started seeing. So there's a local target that I saw. That wasn't this one. I think it was this one. So I think it was one of those was this one, but then also I started looking at the bearish divergence, and I'll explain what I mean.
But why 108? Like why not 110? Like psychological number? Why not 106?
The numbers just wasn't perfect in general. I wasn't sure
that region.
Yeah, but I'll show you why it was a little messy. But let's go into Binance. So I think I've talked to you about this before over the last year. There's the rule of the number 3, right?
Okay, so it's a three drive then. That's what you're expecting.
Yeah. So this is one.
Talk about that. Like
yeah. So I started studying the lower time frames and the bigger time frames, and usually within the 1 minute time frame to do like a rebound after a dump, you see this sort of action, right? Higher high, higher high, higher high, right? And then reversal. And it's the same thing we had here, right?
Bearish divergence too.
Exactly, bearish divergence, right? We kept making higher highs, but essentially, we just make the RSI was just lower lows. And that's on the bigger time frame, which meant a massive pullback. I originally had this one here, right? Which I was a bit off. I stopped looking at this for a little bit, which would take us into like the 110, 108 region, right? But then also one of the other driving factors was the flag, right? The flag, after looking at the flag of that, nice impulse that we had from here to here, it did take us to like 104, right? That was the price action. 102, right? And then from there, it was more of like, all right, let's study this little area here. And that's what gave me that whole price action, right? We are far away from the 200 MA. If you look at the daily, I mean, sorry, no, it's 3-day, 5-day. To be frank with you, I mean, this 78K looks very ideal just because we want to pull back to the 200, to the 21 moving average, right? So essentially, maybe we'd see 88K, and if we don't bounce from there, then probably this area here, that 78K, right? 78.
Well, let me ask you this just straight up: are you selling anything? Are you going into stables? How are you playing this?
Here's the thing: I am partly cash right now.
How much percent?
I mean, I would say, maybe 20%.
Okay, so you're still bullish.
I'm mega bullish still. Going back to what I said here, this is exactly what we're going to see. I'm not going to say this is exactly, but ideally, this is the 30% pullback we're about to see, right? And ideally, this is that 30% pullback we see before we do the next leg.
Gotcha.
Right? And so then, I mean, if we just play it off, and we can always come back to this, right? If we play off the 30%, I mean, 30% says 74, 75K.
But okay. I mean, I think it's good to have all the scenarios in mind, but you have to keep in mind, we just corrected 20%. So you're talking about overall a 50% correction.
That's not 50% correction. So we just corrected a 15% correction.
Okay,
right?
15. So I'm going to share something real quick because I think 30% is kind of par for the course of a significant bull market drawdowns.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a perfect example. Look, 31% pullback, right? From 41 to 28, 29. So again, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It adds up. You know why? Because what are we doing here? We're retesting that last higher high that we still haven't, right? If we do that, like if these levels don't hold, then I expect it to see it there. But first level for me is 90s, then it's 85s, mid 80s. And then from there, I'm starting to see 78 to 74. I know those are big ranges, but with Bitcoin, you just got to be prepped.
What about if that was it, though?
If that was it, then what I do is I think that's a great question, Henry. It's because one of the things I want to see is for us to get back to exactly what I just said, a few seconds ago, right? Or a few minutes ago, was I want to see us back above 98 to 99K in the weekly. Because what that tells us is on the stochastics, we're about to flip again, right? We're not going back in there. We're about to flip. A stochastic is about to flip again, and we're going to continue to the next higher high. And to me, that would be a very bullish scenario, right? And then we're getting close to the monthly close. So it should be interesting. I mean, monthly close, like monthly in general, I'm still bullish. There's no signs of, we're still moving up. So like I said, we could do like a little quick dip, a wick, and then we can continue to the upside. We could also do that flip that we did here, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
We did a little flip, and then look at that massive pump just off of this right here. You get an insane pump. But
this is why I think it's good to pay attention to TA and understand really what's the fundamental backdrop as well. Like me personally, I look at both. And let's just take a step back. Okay, you see my screen?
Yeah, motherfucking Grinch.
What happened here? Okay, let's understand why we pulled back in the first place. Because if there's a legitimate concern, if something's changed, like we're fundamentally bullish, like we've never had such bullish conditions for crypto ever, I'd say, then what you're looking at here is an opportunity, right? So we have to understand, like, let's analyze, why did we pull back? Well, maybe you don't look at the, macro news and crypto news every day like us. This week, this is Chair Powell. He's being depicted as a Grinch here. Because did he steal the bull market, right? And what happened this week? So the Fed had their FOMC decision, cut 25 bips, awesome, just like everyone was expecting. But something the market wasn't expecting, and you saw stocks come off on this, You can see Q's corrected, although they're bouncing pretty nice today. SPY also corrected. US 30. Well, these are yields. Yields went up. So what does this all mean? Basically, inflation, you can see this is a true inflation. They give like a real-time estimate of what's going on with inflation. We're back at 3%, right? Like we went from like this big downtrend from early Q2 to September. We got back to like 2% rate. And what happened? The Fed cut 50 bips, I think twice, or I don't remember exactly how much they cut, but they cut, in my opinion, way too fast, way too much, way too fast. And guess what? The economy is still strong and inflation's picking up. Why does this all matter for our shitcoins? Because now the Fed has come out and said, next year we're only going to cut 2 times instead of 3. That's what this reaction was. And you can see this was on Wednesday, right? Wednesday is when the FOMC announcement came out. Fed came out hawkish. Now, why am I talking about all this? Because I think all the scenarios 100% agree those are in the realm of reality and would be actually very in line with past bull markets. And I'll show you here real quick. Like this is a chart just showing all the drawdowns in different bull markets. So you can see like we're in this black one, and the drawdowns have been pretty tame. Like last bull market, we had drawdowns up to 40%, 30%. This line here is 30%. So this is like, and prices continued after, right? So it doesn't mean the bull market's over just because we pull back 20 or 30%. You have to understand like why is it happening? And then when we understand like why is it happening, is this an overreaction from the market? Which from my perspective, it is, because first of all, the Fed is terrible at making economic projections, and even terrible at projecting what they will themselves be doing in the future. Like you can go back a year or two now, and everything they said they're going to do almost turns out to be wrong. So there's the fact that they're making a more hawkish, like tighter liquidity projection. To me, basically the market forced their hand because inflation was picking up. They had to cut out, they had to be hawkish because they're still cutting rates. They still cut 25 bips. So if you're worried about inflation, why are you still cutting rates, right? You're still, they have to balance. It's like good cop, bad cop, right? They have to balance like here, like you get to party, you got, we're not taking away the punch bowl yet, but we have to talk tough because shit's, things are getting a little heated, basically is what. So all this to say that to me, this is just opportunity, because even, and I agree with you, like we could 100% pull back to like, I think, let's just zoom out to the monthly. And I think we could pull back anywhere above 75. I'm still bullish, but I don't even think we get that low. And because I think this is an overreaction. So I'll stop there, Alex. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, no, I think it's one of those things that, as you're talking about it, it all adds up. And one of the things I was reading on Twitter was that everybody was expecting, or they had priced in Bitcoin with positive news, right?
Not just Bitcoin. The whole market was already priced. The thing is,
right.
The market only prices in what they know, right? And when new information comes to light, then the market has to digest that, which is kind of what's happening now.
Yeah. And one of the things, and again, very interesting, because before this, we were already showing weakness in with BTC and like the bigger time frames. And it's funny, show me the charts and I'll show you the news, right? And that's kind of what happened here. But yeah, no, it adds up. I would say it. I'm not saying it would get to the 70s, but it wouldn't surprise me if we wick down.
And if it does, right? That would be a beautiful opportunity. I think at this point, you should be kind of allocated to bags you feel comfortable holding, even in a drawdown. At this point, it's getting like, 5th or 6th inning of the bull market. You should be positioned accordingly. And if you're not, these are the types of dips to kind of start nibbling and taking stabs at positions. Now, I'll just give you my quick take on Bitcoin. Like we were in this super bullish, like let's just ignore this, right? Like super bullish upwards accumulation channel, right? Like that would be really bullish if it broke up. It didn't, and we kind of broken that channel. Similar to you, I think I would like to see us get back in there. But what I'm really paying attention to today is, this is like a strong reversal off of 92, right? Which is, support here. And we're also starting to reclaim the monthly open. So I'd like to see us, just like these other times, close as a wick above the monthly open. You can see here the last drawdown here. Why is it, why would I like to see that as a wick? Because that means buyers are stepping in. People see value in these levels. And then if you zoom out to the weekly, like these wicks tell a story, okay? And if you look at other times that you kind of see wicks like this on the weekly, like here, this was the low on August 5th. And you have 4 wicks. Buyers are stepping in here. Like it may not feel like it, but as long as we're above 90, I mean, I'd like to see the 92 hold, because like if we are bullish, there's no reason for us to kind of go back there, which is why I think today's close is really important, that we close as a wick. And I haven't really seen anything that makes me think we're going below 92. That even if we go to like what you said, high 88s, like that's still bullish market structure overall. We just got like so used to up only price action that 5-10% corrections, now everyone freaks out. And I just want to share this chart real quick. Like these are forward returns for the S&P when you have like a VIX spike like we did. And specifically like the rate of change, like VIX spiked 70%. And you can see average returns like across all time frames are positive. So I think the Fed is talking tough because they have to. And this is really what you should be paying attention to. Like, will Trump create a Bitcoin reserve in the first 100 days? And it's a 1 in 3 chance, which is crazy. Like that's a really high chance, right? It's not the favorite, obviously, but it's a very, it's probable that he does. He's trying to make this happen. So there is a scenario in my mind where stocks have maybe topped out or they go sideways and Bitcoin just does its own thing. So overall, I think a lot of opportunity. You do have this like fair value gap here on the weekly. I could see us maybe testing this if more bearish news comes out, but overall, I think it's still opportunity. We're still in a cyclical bull market with a really pro crypto president coming into office. So I think definitely it's good to go over all the scenarios of like where we could go. How would you react if we go there? But myself, I deployed. I was already 20% in stables, and I could be early, but you also, I think bull markets, the dips don't go to where everyone kind of wants to bid. They get front run a bit. So that's kind of where my head's at.
Word. All right.
I
do you want to go ahead and move on to?
Is that too bullish? Like, because I was surprised that the market moved this much just off like, oh, we changed the rate cut, from 2 to 3 to 2.
I mean, like I said, man, like I have to see levels of the weekly. I want to close. I'll share my screen. Like, all right, well, what you have there, right? Like, I want to see us close above that blue line, right? The same line we have.
Yeah.
On the weekly, right? And so by Sunday, I want us to do that, which means that by Sunday till next month, or by January 1st, I want to see us a higher high, right? A higher high than the monthly that we had prior.
Yeah.
Right. I think that would give us like a very nice bullish, right?
Let's see what the monthly looks like.
I mean,
that's like
another thing. Yeah, exactly. That would be a decision candle, which means it would come back down a little bit, right? Maybe retest last support before going higher, right? And then we've seen this plenty of times. Like we've seen this throughout almost all charts. We come back down, we retest the level, and then we continue to pump again, right? But I can't, like I say, I'm not going to predict anything. We're just going to take it day by day. And I just want to make sure I'm giving the scenarios that are going to happen. And right now, as of today, as of Friday at 12:38, I can't really, I can't give you, how we're going to play out. Just by Sunday, if we close above it, then yeah, continue the bull trend. But if we don't, then I think that's we need to see other things happen before that. So
yeah. And I think it's fine. I think at the end of the day, the destination is still the same. Like if you look at This was, I believe, the 2017 cycle, like 40% correction, 40% correction, 30% correction. Like this is normal. This is crypto. This is a very volatile asset class. Like if you haven't been around in multiple years, like, or maybe just getting started, it's kind of scary. But this is like why it has such good returns, because it's so volatile. And you have to buy the blood. Like what's the saying? Like buy when there's blood in the streets. Like even if it's yours, that's kind of like what I'm operating under. And if I'm right, I'm gonna be really right. If I'm wrong, this is like why I'm not, like, let's just use Bitcoin as an example. Like I think to me, where I'd start to question whether we're not, whether we're like into a downtrend is probably, I mean, if you wanted to be like really risk averse, I think like 90K is a good psychological level, maybe 89. But what I think Trump's gonna do, like Trump's coming in office in like less than 30 days, and the economy is still strong. Like the fact that the Fed is not cutting is actually bullish, not cutting less basically. So I think if you think Bitcoin goes up at least to 120, your drawdown, this is like a 3-to-1 risk reward, right? Which is more than enough to take like what this is saying, basically like a 33. What you need for this to pay off, I think, is like literally a 3-to-1, right? So to me, risk reward, I'd risk the drawing down, I'd say up to 10% of my portfolio, because this is just Bitcoin, right? Like altcoins, they're gonna do, I think, at least another 50%. So it's like, I don't know, man. People just gotta nut up a bit here. And if you want to make money in crypto, you gotta buy when you're uncomfortable. Now, obviously, you gotta have a plan. Like if we start trading, if we don't, like we talked about, close the weekly bullish, close the daily bullish, the monthly looks ugly, then yeah, I'll reassess. But I haven't seen anything. Like all I see is opportunity. I haven't seen anything to, like, and I actually deployed the stables I was in because I did think we were getting a little heated, but basically fully deployed now. And I think the risk is worth it. I'll draw down 10% to double or triple my portfolio in the next month. I have no problem with that. Take that bet every time.
Yeah. So do you want to get into some alts?
Yeah, let's I think days like today, it's good to cover like what's showing strength, right?
Yeah.
We'll just quickly, let's get into that. I think this by the way is probably the most important chart you can pay attention to, because Polymarket has been accurate in the election, different things happening in the world. The wisdom of crowds. If you don't understand that concept, definitely look into it. Like that's the most, even more important than the price, I'd say. Okay, so you just want to take a quick look at like what's going on with the market, right? I found this new dashboard. Yeah. And it kind of shows like it's some good tables on, just sector performance. So we'll go, basically Wednesday was like 3 days ago, right? 2 days, give or take. So what's like holding up? Like obviously Bitcoin as a benchmark, the safest asset. We were at 106. When was this? Tuesday? And we're at 96, so it's down 8%. So this is like your benchmark that you're trying to beat, right? And I think almost everything now is below the benchmark. But what we want to see is like what's drawing down the least. What's like, what are people actually holding and not selling? And I mean, meme coins have been getting just absolutely destroyed. It looks like Akash is catching a bid here. Yeah, just every category across the board is down because, at the end of the day, these are like beta to Bitcoin. And look at that. SUI is only down 3%. Wow. So
Well, yeah, here, sorry. So do you have the hourly? Because within the hourly or the hour or 6 hour, just because right now, like I can tell you, Sui had a massive dump, but a 40% recovery, like 35,
yeah.
40%. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you have an hourly, I think
I have a daily. I think
Coinbase.
that's pretty short term. So Bitcoin is down only 1%, and that's actually, yeah, we want to see like what's bouncing the hardest, because these are essentially showing the market, showing you what are going to be the leaders. And Sui is now bounced 10% on the day, so it's actually up since Bitcoin dumped yesterday. Um, Looks like some gaming projects are showing strength, and AI also. So yeah, do you want to take a look at Sui?
Yeah. Let's do that. Give me
And
one moment.
kind of, we've been talking about this thesis of paying attention to Sui. We've been buying Sui meme coins. AI and Sui have really been like our two big themes since we started streaming a couple months ago.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, one of the things that yours isn't showing, I don't know why, but if you just do 24-hour, you see Hyperliquid just hit 30 move, hit at 13%
It's crazy.
from that dump. Virtuals, yeah, 8%, and then Sui, within the 24 hours, 6%, 7% almost, right? And so these are the strong bouncers. But one of the things I was looking at, if you get into Sui, I know some of these charts can be a bit messy, but I'll try to start from scratch with you guys. But essentially, what did we just do? Which is wild, right? Let me just remove this fib, and we can look at it in a second. All right. So we did talk about this whole retest. We did a retest here, and then we hit the 786, and then we popped from that all the way to that. So I've been giving you this call since here, by the way, since 3:20. If you go to our Telegram group, you'll see it. So that's a 50% pump. There was some weakness here, as you could see, right? It looked like we were going to do a shoulder, head, and shoulder to pump. But look at the RSI. We kept getting lower, lower, lower. And then, around, what is that? Tuesday, December the 7th at 7 a.m., it was that last wick before that dump. And then, I mean, this is wild. Like, these swings are so crazy. That was a 30% pullback, right? And then, from this bottom back to literally, I was looking at this. I woke up and I was looking at it this morning. So around 6 a.m., and let me tell you something, if you guys don't know, there's some massive movements, either pumps or dumps within the 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. Time frame. I think it's because of the UK or Japan or something. I can't remember, but there's going to be a lot of good swings, and you can find good bottoms and good tops.
That's the Europe Open, I think.
Europe, right? And you see some really good swings to enter positions around that time. But, if we look back, that's a 30% pump from, what is that? From 8 a.m. until, midday. So like in 4 hours or 6 hours. That was a great trade, right? And I wasn't expecting it to go that low, but we did retest the support region here, right?
What's interesting is I was looking, just like assessing what's showing strength. And even though Sui was dumping, like the Sui memes were like holding up. So it kind of shows you like, uh, you know, people were still coming into the ecosystem. Like even on a bad day, on a bloody day in the markets, like this is where people were still bidding.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have another Sui, another Sui altcoin, like not a meme coin, a fundamental one that is also making new all-time highs. So definitely continues to show leadership, right, as an ecosystem to pay attention to.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I was looking at here was, this could, I'm not saying it will happen, but I am open to the idea that this is a shoulder, head, and we're about to make the right shoulder. And I'll explain why I'm saying that, which means that we could, if let's just say that scenario plays out where Bitcoin hits 77K, we could see a massive dump, right? And then I'll give you the bullish scenario on this one. Essentially, reason why I'm saying that, and we'll see how the date today plays out and the weekly plays out, how we close on the weekly. But overall, this is something that we wanted to see for Bitcoin, right? Look, retest. We retested. We closed. We tried to break that pattern, but no. What did we do? We pumped, right? And that's something that I want to see to be bullish for Bitcoin. I love this. This
Sui.
looks incredible. Yeah. For sure. I mean, look at that. We've been holding trend since November. That's massive, right? That's mega bullish. People are bidding this one really hard. So I like this overall. But one of the things that I was looking at as a potential, maybe downside was, I was pulling the fib here on the 4 hour, and there was some rejection in the 786, right? So if we start looking at, that region, that's exactly what we did. From that impulse all the way to that bottom, we pulled back all the way to the 786, and then that's where we started selling off. Interestingly enough, that's exactly where we started. So that was a great short. If you play short, it's not recommended to play shorts during a bull market. But I mean, that was a nice pullback, and I want to see this break, or I want to see like a flag from here. Or another thing is, I don't want to see a trend break this trend here.
Yeah.
Once we start breaking this trend, then obviously we're going to see lower lows. But essentially, I don't want to see this shoulder, head and shoulder, right? Because then we could just go sideways here and then dump again, right? I don't want to see that. So far, everything's looking bullish. Like, I like the way Sui's looking to make higher highs. And to me, this would give me a level of, potentially coming into the, $6-7 region until we see like a massive pullback. But I see this being even more bullish if we break this trend, right? It's one of the trends that I was telling you guys about with Bitcoin, right? We're holding this trend all the way back from November. And if we break this, we're making higher highs as the RSI is getting lower. We just did a reset today. But if we break through this, I'm so bullish, $10 to $15 probably. But again, playing it day by day, stochastics are looking very, very good in general on bigger time frames. But let's see what Bitcoin does. Let's see what Bitcoin dominance does. But I will give you those scenarios. Keep an eye on this one. And this could play out, until next week if we don't break above these levels. Not wicks. I don't want to see wicks. I want to see us close above these levels on a daily, on bigger time frames, and then I'm happy. Otherwise, this is going to be like a shoulder, and then the whole thesis of Bitcoin going to 70. This chart also showing those, the alts also showing that sort of weakness kind of tells me where we're going to go, right? Overall, bullish on Sui. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think Sui is, to me, the benchmark to beat now. And I'll show you why. So you see my screen?
Yep, there you go.
So this is a page on CoinGecko. It shows you crypto since all-time high, and I ranked it here from percent. You can rank it, sort it based on what coins are closest to making an all-time high. And basically, to me, this tells me like what coins are being bid up, even though they're the highest price ever. And they're continually into price discovery, basically showing us there's a relentless bid on this coin. So, of course, one is hype. I'm not going to lie. I completely missed hype in this whole meta. I'm okay with that. You can't capture every single trade in crypto. If it does dip to like $20, I'd definitely buy, but this isn't worth the risk reward for me. And then you have, these are all stables or like pegged assets. And then what do you see? Sui, 8% for making all-time high. Last all-time high was 4 days ago. And then it's not much is closer to making all-time high. Then you have Bitcoin, then you have everything else, right? So Sui and Hyperliquid are the leaders. And I think Sui can double or triple within the next, with basically, wow, it's up 10% versus Bitcoin. So that's a lot of strength there.
It's nuts, isn't it? Yeah, mega bullish.
So I think Sui is the mark to beat. Like, if you can't beat Sui outperformance, like if you can't outperform Sui, just buy Sui and log off, right? And that's going to be tough because it is the leader. But there is one coin that I bought. I actually sold my Sui for this, and that actually is Virtuals. And we talked about this one, I don't remember, way lower. And I did miss getting an entry at the lows, but I do. I think this is going to be basically one of the leading L1s, even though it's an app on Base. The way the token functions, it's it's an AI agent launchpad, right? We've gone over it a lot of times, but basically this is the leading coin for this narrative. And the reason I liked this level, on this market pullback is it did hit 330. It pulled back about how much here? 30%, 40% to the Pico bottom, which I did not get, but I got kind of close to it. And then it's holding these fib levels. Now, the reason I sold SUI for virtuals is I pulled up this chart and I posted it in our Telegram. And if you're not on the Telegram, check out my Twitter at Edge Ventures _, and the Telegram is linked there. We'll link it in the description. But this is basically the virtuals versus SUI chart, right? And again, I start off this rant with I want to outperform SUI. And when you see this chart going up and to the right, that means that virtual is outperforming SUI, which is the leading L1 in the market right now, right? So that's showing an insane strength, insane momentum. And if we pull out this trend scanner, it's basically a EMA, exponential moving average cross, and just showing extremely bullish. It's trending extremely bullish, right? And the saying is in markets, the trend is your friend. So I'm betting on this trend to continue. I also like that virtuals is only, I think, below 3 billion FDV. And if you look at SUI, I think it's already at a 40 billion FDV, which to me, I mean, it's got upside. And I am in SUI, but I'm in like high beta SUI, like I'm in meme coins on SUI. I think that's like the best risk reward there, because if SUI goes up, then I capture that upside there. But so I think if SUI does like a 3 to 5x, virtuals can do a 10x in my book. And that's kind of why I rotated that. And you can see here, it's already 44 billion FDV. If we look at like the upside for an L1, it's kind of getting priced to perfection, right? Like, not saying there's not upside. Again, this is the top performing asset right now besides hype. But you can see like the market caps here. It's at 13 billion. Can catch like Cardano. I mean, it's still like a 10x to Solana actually. So if you think I think it could get like maybe to 50 to 75% of Solana's market cap, which is like a 5 to 7x. I just think virtuals, this chart tells me that virtuals continues outperforming SUI. What do you think of that thesis, Alex?
Yeah. Quick question. Do you know if virtuals is on base already?
Yeah, it's a base asset.
No, I'm saying, like, is it on Coinbase to buy, like on the website? Wow.
Oh, good question. I actually don't think it's on. It might be. Let's check.
Yeah, because I think that would also play a big role.
Yeah, it's 2.5 billion. So compare that to like SUI at 13 billion, Solana at 90 billion. Like I think there is going to be an asset that goes to 200 billion in this AI meta. I've kind of shifted from playing like we were longing like AI meme coins and AI agents. There is an AI agent that I'm still long, AI XBT. We'll talk, we about that in the Telegram, but protocol, which is almost over like a 10x, and that's like the bear case for me. And I just don't think this is priced in, like the adoption and the flywheel that they're growing is priced in. And let's just check out the markets here. So it's not on any major exchanges yet, like not on Binance, just Bybit's the only one.
Yeah.
KX, not on Base, not on okay.
Then
yeah, not on any.
Yeah, in that case, that makes me. Yeah, then I mean, we're talking about at least another 4x on this one, if that's the case. So overall, still bullish. I mean, it's mega bullish on that. But take a look at AI XBT.
Yeah, yeah, XBT. I mean, that's one that we've been calling out on the Telegram for a while. This is so yeah, virtuals is like the launch pad, the kind of the fuel for this whole agents on base meta. And if you're not familiar with like the utility, basically you have to have virtuals. You can see here AIXBT. The pair isn't Ethereum; it's virtual, right? So every LP has to be paired with virtual. So it's like a supply sync, and basically the way I like to look for plays, like long term plays in crypto, is like we're all here to gamble, right? And uh, everything is just a different casino. So Sol is a casino, ETH is a casino, and what you want to bet on is you want to be the house. You want to be the one. Uh, if you're Caesar's Palace, you want to be the one issuing the chips. And in Solana's case, that's Sol. In Sui's case, it's Sui. If people want to come in the Sui casino, they have to buy Sui off you. Um, and when that net flow of people coming into the ecosystem is higher than people leaving it, the casino chip goes up. It costs more to gamble in that casino. So virtuals, to me, show those same kind of qualities as a casino type play. And uh, then I bought AIXBT. I think we've been posting this one since like 160, right? In the Telegram. And I'm bearish almost all the AI agents except this one, because this is like more than an AI agent. It gives like real time alpha, helps people make money. So I think this isn't like a gimmick. It is providing value, and I could see them like releasing a different product suite. It's got an insane amount of followers. This thing was growing like 10K followers a day, and it's the top mindshare KOL in all of crypto, like more than all the crypto KOLs. So looking extremely bullish. I mean, not much to add to this one other than $500 million next. And I think Perps, it just got listed on Perps on Binance. So
Yeah.
yeah, super bullish AIXPT, super bullish virtuals. I think if it looks like you're late, but it's not late for this meta. This meta could still 10 to 20x. And the best risk reward way to play that is always the leaders.
All right. Then let me go ahead and take a look at that really quick. And then I have one last thing. We're going to call it a wrap. Yeah, I mean, essentially that's, we have this, this support here, and look at those bounces every time it dips, right? It's a very strong bounce. But yeah, overall bullish on this one. Once we break this area here, I mean, we're going to see some really good numbers, even up to like, $500,000. But, in addition to that, I do want to talk about the Binance wallet. Essentially, they're talking about the Binance Alpha, right, which came out, I believe, I don't know if it came out today. I think it came out a few days ago. But one of the things we're starting to notice is the whole moonshot effect that that Bitcoin's that Binance is having with with some of these coins, right? And this is very interesting. This guy, Ethereum Danium, hit me up for devs and lawyers. He said Genon on Binance Alpha. Do you get it now? And it's a really good point if you're looking at the list here. And AIXBT was also here, but
yeah, I was there a few days ago, and then Perps got announced a couple of days later. So definitely,
this is exactly that's exactly that play. And Genon, look at that. We went from 23 cents all the way to, I was looking at this one just this morning. So I mean, this morning we just dipped at 4 a.m. We dipped all the way down to 18 mil. We pumped all the way up to 45 mil. And so make sure you guys are following that. Like that's some good information to keep an eye out on. And
is there an account that posts what's in there? Because
so you have to actually
you got to download the wallet, right? Did you download the wallet?
Yeah, so I mean, there's two ways, and you have to log in, but we're not allowed to log in since we're in the U.S. But it's saying go, and I tried doing this. It says navigate to, just click here. So it says navigate to markets, and then the Alpha tab.
I think we can download the wallet though. It's a Web3 wallet. It's not a Binance exchange account, so it's just
if you can figure that out and then post it in our in our group chat, I think that'd be great. But essentially, you know, I'm following the whole thing, you know, go to markets, and then, you know, because that's exactly what it says, right? It's saying, you know, click here, right? So we click there and it takes us here. We go into markets, but we don't see the alpha section unless I'm blind. But
No, it's in the wallet. So it's like a ploy. It's kind of their strategy to grow the wallet. Like it's like a Web3 wallet, like Phantom.
yeah,
Um,
okay.
so
Then yeah, that might be the case. But if you want to
yeah,
do that and take a screenshot and then send it to the group chat, and you know, that also gives us an idea of, you know, how to be privy to these things, right? How to get alerts, how to know things really fast. And then, I mean, you know, after that announcement, just look at what Genon did. That was beautiful momentum, right? From that post, boom, look at that. I think the post was around here because I saw it here this morning around 7-8, and I think that came out, and then boom, we just did 75% off the bat. So expect that to happen for a lot of these coins. But yeah, I think that's what we have, you know, for today. We will obviously come back with more alpha later, and yeah, we'll see, you know, when we can go live again. Anything else you want to add?
nope, just don't get shaken out before up only NFA.
Yeah.
But this is this is crypto. The market's designed to try to shake you out, and you just have to make sure your entries are good. You have a fundamental thesis behind everything that we explain. That you make your own thesis, but overall, I think I remain bullish. We could correct, but all I see is when you see red, all I see is opportunity. So
Yeah.
just stay locked in.
Yeah, guys, make sure you're joining the group chat, and remember, we're giving you live updates for, you know, anything related to Bitcoin or any good opportunities. So, you know, if you want the alpha, you know, make sure you to join.
Yep.